Dressing the part. The actor must recognize that clothing reflects the way people think. Modern casual dress, with its comfort and looseness, reflects a time in which comfort and habit outweigh form and control. Earlier generations, even in casual moments, dressed with a sense of formality. For example, the men of the 1950s were often seen in jackets and ties, which structured not just their dress, but their posture and manner as well. Today's fashion lacks that structure, and actors must be able to interpret this shift in clothing as a reflection of the mindset of a given time period. When wearing costumes from past eras, actors must understand that they are not just dressing up. They are adopting the thinking, values, and behaviors of a different time. To portray a character from the past, one must first understand the historical, social, and cultural context of that period. For example, portraying characters from Southern American plays requires knowledge of the South's history, its social hierarchy, and the fear of miscegenation in its aristocratic families. In order to perform effectively, an actor must understand the concerns and conflicts of the time being depicted, whether it is the labor struggles of the 1930s or the complex family dynamics of the South. Costumes offer more than a mere aesthetic or theatrical role, they hold meaning and power. Modern actors often ignore the significance of clothing, valuing comfort over the form and discipline that costumes provide. This disregard for formality is seen as contributing to a decline in the profession. English actors maintain a respect for form and control, as reflected in their dress and language. In contrast, American actors have abandoned the formal, disciplined approach that gives an actor authority and presence on stage. Actors must recognize that clothes have inherent power. Items such as ties, shirts, and trousers have been carefully designed over time, and they demand respect in how they are worn. Wearing a shirt incorrectly or rolling up sleeves may seem inconsequential, but it detracts from the power and control that the garment can provide. Costumes, like uniforms, are symbols of the roles and responsibilities that people take on. A police officer's uniform, a doctor's scrubs, or a judge's robes are not mere clothing. They are a manifestation of the authority those individuals hold. Likewise, actors must approach costumes with reverence for the power they grant. Each piece of clothing and each prop an actor uses represents something greater. These objects have history, and actors must respect that history by acknowledging the form and purpose of everything they wear or use on stage. This respect extends beyond clothing to the spaces actors inhabit. The environment, like a chair or a bed, dictates certain behaviors and postures. Just as slouching in a chair can negatively affect one's physical form, disrespecting the discipline of the stage can harm an actor's performance. Learning to respect the demands of both space and costume is essential to understanding the civilization that created them. Power in acting is closely tied to the control and discipline that costumes and environments provide. Actors must learn to dress and behave in a way that expresses power, just as the design and repetition seen in architecture express form and order. For example, ancient Greek temples represent man's ability to impose structure on nature, using the power of stone to create lasting symbols of civilization. The symmetrical columns of these temples illustrate the balance between natural strength and human creativity, much like an actor's controlled movements and disciplined approach to costume reveal inner strength. The loss of form and structure in society is mirrored in the way people now dress. Modern fashion tends to emphasize surface decoration, without any deeper sense of design or power. True power comes from a base of form and structure, as seen in the grandeur of medieval cathedrals. These buildings, like well-crafted costumes, reflect a strength that grows from a foundation of order and design. Actors must strive to reflect this strength in their own approach to costume and performance, dressing in a way that enhances their power on stage rather than diminishing it through casualness or neglect. The actor must learn that civilization demands restraint and control. In contrast to modern society's emphasis on individual freedom and casualness, civilization, is built on formal structures and codes of conduct. Actors must respect the symbols of power and authority, whether they come in the form of a costume, a uniform, or the language of a script. Power is not oppressive or privileged, it can be noble and uplifting. It is through discipline and respect for form that actors tap into this noble power, just as civilized societies are built on the balance between freedom and restraint. In preparation for future performances, actors should learn to work with costumes and props that carry meaning. Wearing something like the robes of a medieval clergyman is not simply about wearing a uniform, but embodying the authority, discipline, and spirituality that comes with it. Even if the actor does not share the beliefs associated with such a role, understanding and respecting the costume will improve their ability to perform. Wearing these costumes affects the actor's internal state, enabling them to adopt the character's mindset more naturally. In conclusion, an actor's power comes from control over their body, their costume, and their environment. The art of acting is not simply about delivering lines, but about adopting the forms and symbols of a character's world. By embracing the formality and discipline required by the stage, actors can convey the power of the roles they play, standing tall like the pillars of a temple, grounded in the strength of tradition and civilization.